CC, CEO, wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder that can teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black-owned firm, but we ain't all black.
Hey, y'all, it's your girl, Constance Carter. How you guys doing tonight? It is so good to see so many of you coming in the building. So I want to welcome you. And I want to welcome you. If you don't know me, I'm Constance Carter. And I've been off for a little bit. So I took a little vacation, you guys. I was out in St. Martin. I took a little self-imposed vacation. I was off social media. I was not online for 2 weeks. And now I am back. So I was back. I think yesterday was my first night back, or maybe the day before. But I'm back. And I see so many people coming in. What's happening, Yolanda? What's happening, Facebook user? So as you come in here and you make yourself at home, make sure you put in the comments box, because I want to know. I want you to talk back to me. And I want you to talk black to me. And I want you to tell me where you are from, because you are tuning into the Fly Nubian Queen, the platform, the station for melanated people just like you and you and you. Yes. What's up, Ann Miles? What's up, Wanda? Hey, how you doing, Yolanda? I don't know who Facebook user is, so go ahead and put your name in there. But make sure you put where you're from. Ann says she's from Nashville, Tennessee. Yes, ma'am. Yolanda is from Las Vegas. You guys are coming in from all over the place. Hi, Christina. What's up, Wisdom from Florida? Rachel Jackson from Columbus, Ohio. Okay. Right on. So keep on coming back in. Make sure that you share this information. Make sure you share this broadcast tonight, because I want to have a dialogue with you. And remember, whenever I come on here, this is a dialogue and not a monologue. So I want you to talk to me. Okay. I want you to talk back to me and talk black to me. And I'm going to invite you. I want to invite you to actually have a conversation with me live. So if you're interested in coming on here and just having a conversation with me live and talking about this topic, I'm going to put the StreamYard chat, the link in the chat box. So here's a link right here. Boom. And click that link and come on and join me if you want to have a conversation with me about this very topic, because I think it's so important. So listen, you guys, I don't know if you see this link down here. It's Constance Carter VIP. I have partnered, and you may not know me. This might be your first time. I've been off a couple of weeks, so you may not know me. But if you don't know who I am, I'm Constance Carter. I own the largest African-American owned real estate firm in California. So I'm an investor. I invest in cannabis. I have a couple of best-selling books. I invest in real estate. I flip houses. I'm a wealth advocate. And my goal is to help people who look like you to be able to be in position to create wealth, to leave legacy for their children and their children's children. And that is so muy importante in my life, because the wealth gap is very real. Predatory lending is very real. All of the things that have happened to us over the past 400 years is very real. And it's my goal and my mission in life to help us to get into a better position, an equitable position, so that we can be competitive and we can leave a legacy for our families. The cool thing, I'm so grateful. And if you don't know about my story, I filed bankruptcy in 2010. And so I've managed to really build back up. And the thing about it is I'm blessed. I'm able to manifest money, and just because I believe that I can, but I want to impart on you the same thing. So I want to get started. I see you out there. Richard, thank you. I appreciate you. D, you guys, listen. Okay. It's stock advice. Nah, you ain't playing. Okay. Stock advice. Let me just tell you right now, my 16-year-old son, before I get started. Oh, hold on. Constance Carter VIP. That was on there. I want to let you know, because I partner with Boyce Watkins. So one of the things that I do is I coach people. I coach people in their businesses, and I charge $2,000 a month to coach people. However, I partnered with Boyce Watkins. And one of the things we're doing is we do a Q&A with me every Tuesday. And I just come on here and answer your questions. It's only $59 a month. You come on here, we'll answer your questions. Any questions you have around if you want to invest, if you want to build your wealth, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, that's what we do every Tuesday. So I want to make sure that you are subscribing and signing up to Constance Carter VIP, so you can talk to me in real time and we can talk about how to build your wealth portfolio. Okay. Yes, Wanda, I am a wealth advocate. I'm a wealth activist. I'm a wealth activator. like I said, for me, it's not really hard for me to create wealth and build wealth. And I just want to be able to help you to be able to manifest and do the same things. And I've been blessed in that way. But I want to talk about why Black people don't do business with Black people. Have you ever heard that? All right, before we do that, I want you to subscribe to Fly Nubian Queen. If you're on YouTube, I want you to subscribe to the page. Subscribe to my page also. Nobody works harder than Constance Carter. I already see we got a guest on here that wants to be a part of the show, so I'm going to bring them on in a minute. And also, oh, what's up, Pam? Renee from Sacto. Okay, what's happening? What's happening? Peace God from Baltimore. That's how y'all say it, right? Baltimore. What's up, Brandy Cox? And then make sure you subscribe to Nobody Works Harder Than Constance Carter on on Facebook and on YouTube. Subscribe to my page. I need more followers, as well as Fly Nubian Queen. And then on IG, follow me. I'm on I Am Constance Carter. Okay, got the housekeeping out the way. I want to have a real conversation with y'all. So again, if you are interested in having this conversation with me, you can come on and we can actually be live because I want to talk about it. Let's talk about it. So let me ask you a question. Okay. For all of those that are on here, how many of y'all, Empress, she said it's usually because of quality. Thank you for saying that. How many of you guys have either said or you heard someone Black say, I don't do business with Black people? How many of you heard somebody say that or have said it? Now, I know we are all B1. I know we all Black folks. I know we all Black first. But hey, Antonio, okay, you in Chi-Town. Thank you. And share, Wanda. Yes, share this on your page because this is a really important conversation that we're going to have because we got to get some things out the way. Really, share this on your page. Share this in every group that you're in about economics, about collective economics, collaborative, because that's what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to show you how to do it because this is what I does, y'all. Okay? All right. So how many people have heard somebody Black say that they don't do business with Black people, or have you ever said that? Now, again, you may not have always been woke. May not have always been B1, but how many people have actually heard it? Because I know I've heard it. And if I can count the times I've heard it, if I had $5 for every time I heard somebody Black saying that they don't do business with Black people, I would probably have a good amount of money in my bank account right now. So if you are Black, you have probably either heard it or probably either said it. So let's talk about it. How many people have heard? I've heard it as a Black business owner, refuse to have my clientele be all Black. Okay, that's what's up, Ricky. Okay, you don't want to have all Black clientele. Okay. Never heard it, but it's tacky. All right. I've been a barber for 25 years. Heartbreak. Yes, I have. Bonsoir from Montreal. All right. Oh, yeah, we have people come. Where y'all at? Are anybody across the pond in Europe? Christina says she's heard it. I mean, come on. If you Black, you've heard it. Shani says she's heard it. It takes patience, Tony McPherson said. Teresa says she's heard it. Ann says she's heard it. Because they have a hard time building, they need to build because they spend their money on material things instead of building the businesses and helping the community. Is that what Black people do? Black pride? Is that what all Black people do? Black pride? I used to hear it a lot, but not so much anymore. Okay, because it looks like folks is getting woke. D, yep, I heard it. Who else heard it? Michelle, sometimes I cannot afford it. You're saying that their prices are too high? Okay. Teresa said me. Sophia, good. Big ups to England. All right. I've heard it, but I make it my business to do business with Black folks. I see you, Jonathan. I'm going to bring you on in a second. I see you out there. I fired some Black folks. Okay. I'm virtual reality business owner and people have said it to my face. Wow. Unfortunately, I've heard it. Not all of us. We getting better. Hey, y'all, I've heard it. I own a smoke shop and I hate when Black people come shop with me because they always want a deal instead of supporting me. Ooh, I've heard it. Whoop, whoop. I've heard it. Poor customer service. Okay. So I've heard all of these things too, right? I've heard people say that they don't do business with Black people, and I heard them say the reason why they don't do business. In fact, if you heard the comedian Jess Hilarious a few years ago, she said she was blatant in saying she don't do business with Black people because they tacky, they don't do business right, they this, they that, and the third, right? And so we hear it all the time. I've heard it, and most of you have heard it. And people say customer service is bad. People say we do bad business, right? And that's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate that Black people will say that they don't do business with Black people because they've had 1 or 2 or even 10 bad experiences. But yet you'll do business with other people that you've had negative experiences with, and you'll continue to patronize those types of businesses. How many times have you been to a Chinese restaurant? And I have. And maybe the store is maybe not even as clean as it should be. Perhaps the bathrooms ain't good. Perhaps they even have bad customer service. Do you stop eating Chinese food because they have bad customer service at this one Chinese place? The problem with us is we've been taught self-hatred for so long. We've been pit against each other for so long that we are competing against each other rather than supporting. And it's so unfortunate because the bad thing about it is other people don't do business with us because we Black. And then if we Black and we don't do business with each other, then where in the hell are we going to get the business from? I'm a Black owned business and I'm Black owned, but I'm not Black only. So I don't want to get it twisted. I have people from all walks of life that work for me and I love that. And I help everybody. But I also am very aware that I am Black and I'm a woman. And I'm also very aware that people don't want to work for me because I'm Black. And I have some of my white agents have told me that people have told them, because I own a real estate company, my white agents have told them that, why are you working for her? Why are you working for that Black company? Not because they've made more money than they've ever made in their career in real estate. I have people who when I got into the business was my mentor that were top producers at these white owned companies that now work for me and make more money than they ever made at these other companies, white folks. That's why they work for me. But other people will block their blessings, including Black people, because they don't want to be pigeonholed. They don't want to work for a Black owned company because of the color of my skin, because of the stereotypes in which we put on each other that Black owned businesses are not good enough. It's a damn shame that we have painted everybody with a broad brush because we've had some bad experiences. That comes from Willie Lynch. That comes from Jim Crow. Think about this, you guys. And now we're at a point, like when I was in high school, I never heard of Black Wall Street. When I was in my 20s, I finally, with the help of the internet, I heard of Black Wall Street, right? So we all know about Black Wall Street, but it wasn't taught in the schools. But it was the biggest massacre on American soil to Americans by Americans. So we are Americans. The massacre was way bigger than 9/11, which they call the biggest massacre on American soil. No, it was Black Wall Street, right? They destroyed over 600 businesses. Okay. And so what ended up happening when Black Wall Street, why did Black Wall Street finally die? Does anybody know why Black Wall Street finally died? Can anybody put it in the comments box? So after all of this happened in Greenwood, Oklahoma, in Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Greenwood section of Oklahoma, what ended up happening was they rebuilt. They didn't have 600 businesses, but 300 businesses were built up, right? But the reason why they were bombed, but that's not the reason why they didn't come back, Black Pride. The reason why they didn't come back, or the reason why it was ultimately destroyed, Black Wall Street, is because of integration. Because of integration. It wasn't economic impoverishment. It was because Black people no longer had to do business with Black people. So we didn't do business with Black people. Now we can do business with everybody else. So now we're not good enough to do business with ourselves. And so now, since I can do business, I can go I can go to the white countertop and I can eat there, even though they pushed my head in my food and they spit on me. I fought to sit at these counters, and I'm going to go sit at these counters, and I'm going to spend my money in these establishments that they don't want me to spend my money in. Instead of spending money with Black people, now I can do it. So now this is where I'm going to go. And ultimately, Black Wall Street was destroyed because of integration, because we no longer wanted to do business with each other. And that thinking has always been implanted in us from the beginning of our existence in this country. We were taught to hate each other. We were taught to be divided. We were taught to divide. They divided and they conquered us. When you look at, in the workplace, you have the token Black person who always rises to the top, that doesn't want anybody else to come up there. And then everybody else at the bottom is hating. And then you got the crabs in the barrel because everybody wants that position. They keep us jockeying and fighting for that one position. And that mindset is permeated in us. And then we do not do business with each other. And then things like this are said. I don't do business with black people because they don't know how to do business. And so then you've missed out on some really great experiences with some really great people because you made a decision that you're not going to do business with black people simply because of the color of our skin. Is that crazy or what? So my quality and my service could be superior, but because I'm black, you're not going to do business with us. And a lot of black folks should know you still doing business with Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo was convicted of predatory lending a few years ago. They was giving black people worse loans than they was giving white people. But you still do business with Wells Fargo. You still do business with Bank of America, but they are the ones that are getting you. And you won't come do business with your local black bank or black mortgage company that's going to look out for your best interest. Oh, by the way. But you want it because for you, what you've been taught is black is whack and white is right. And that's very unfortunate that so many of us are not woke. And when you said, somebody said that because they have bad service, the service is not. That's not true. Some black people have bad service. Some white people have bad service. It is what it is. You might have came to that black-owned business on a bad day, and you may have gotten it may have been a bad month. I don't know. But now you decided that I'm excellent. That's what happens. Listen, right now, today, other people are intentional about doing business with each other, more intentional than we are, right? So if you look in other communities today, if you look into the Jewish community, they do business with Jewish people. They are intentional about how they spend their money. If you go into the Hispanic community, they are intentional about how they spend their money. They spend their money. Now, I'm not telling you to not spend your money with anybody else. I'm saying be intentional with how you spend your money. In the Asian community, these are facts. Look them up. Their dollar circulates 30 days before it leaves their community. 30 days. That means what? That means they're intentional about how they spend their money. I'm not saying don't spend with anybody else. In the Jewish community, they're intentional. They spend with each other first. They spent 20 days the dollar circulates in the Jewish community. In the white community, 17 days the dollar circulates in that community before it leaves. 7 days for the Hispanic community. They look at spending with each other first. But the black community, what is our time that the dollar circulates in our community? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? The dollar circulates in the black community 6 hours before it leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. Come on, man. Come on. 6 hours. I'm going to bring you on in a second, Jonathan. So when you talk about not doing business with black people and everybody else being intentional about how they spend their money, but the moment you say, I'm going to be intentional about how I spend my money, then there's a problem. That's a very real problem. We have $1.3 trillion in spending power, but yet we don't spend money with each other. That's a problem. That's a real problem. So I'm going to bring Jonathan Burgess on here. Somebody asked me about playing the bass. Jonathan.
Hey, how are you doing?
What's up? How you doing?
That's a problem.
Look, girl, I'm doing good. Checking you out. I'm proud of you.
It's good to see you.
I'm playing the bass.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you got some feedback. What's up? How you doing?
That's a problem.
Look, girl,
Jonathan, you got some feedback, homie. You gotta turn me off on your other tab.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me do that.
All right, somebody said something about playing the bass, so I'm gonna go.
I'm a little technology challenged. So thank you.
It's all good. So what do you say, brother, about people saying that they don't do business with black people? What is your take on it?
Here's my take on it. Those are a lot of people that don't know our history because our history was never taught.
Mm-hmm. I want to see your face. I want to see your face. How come I can't see?
Hold on. Let me get. Okay.
There he is.
Black folk.
All right.
Had to do business together, and so I've had the privilege and the honor to do some history of our great grandfather and what he was doing in 1849 when he was brought to California during the gold rush. and because there were not a lot of Burgesses that were here. Now there's a lot of Burgesses, but Black folks work together. They had to. And so we've got a new generation of people that don't understand truly what the history was. And you bring up some really good points. We were extremely powerful, and that's why Tulsa, Oklahoma was taken away, because it's like at the end of the day, it was segregation. But when you look at even the Negro Baseball League, right? I tell people this: if the world was just vanilla or chocolate, it'd be boring.
Right.
And so people want some flavor and some soul and some other things. And so Tulsa, that was, folks came home from the war mad. How can they have all this and we don't?
Right.
And so we had to support each other. And so I tell people that, I make a point, Constance, you have one bad experience. That doesn't mean everybody's that way. Right. You keep it going. And so we are the worst critics, but I'll tell you why. All that we've been through, we hear things like Black excellence. Mm-hmm. We hear things like kings and queens. And our people were royal kings and queens. But here's the reality of it. There's usually only one or two kings. I mean, you can't have 15 kings.
Everybody is a king. Everybody.
Right. So here's the reality though, Constant. It's like, I can get on your bus and ride in the back and be fine because I'm on the bus. What systemic racism has done is it's made Black folks, like, everybody wants to be at the top and they can't work together, knowing that, look, it doesn't matter if Constance is on the top. I'm on the bus. We go to the same place. That's why Black folks don't work together, because we're always looking like, you trying to take me out? Versus working together for the common goal. And so I see some other friends like you. I got friends of all denominations, right? And you have to. And I tell people this: there have been incredible white people since the beginning of time. You got agents. Underground Railroad would have never made it without white folks. Wouldn't have happened. And so you can't say that all are bad. All have the same. Different people. I talked to a very incredible lady today. I won't reveal the name, but she's like, John, all white people. I mean, and like a Jewish friend, will just tell you how it is. And sometimes people got to walk in silence. But I say Black folks don't work together, and that's a myth, because they don't know our history. When you understand our history and how powerful we were, going back, and I can tell you, it'll come to fruition very soon here about our family in Coloma, California, and what was accomplished, but again, taken away. But you see the resilience when we continue to build. My soapbox, I'm open to talk to you, have any questions, but I do want to talk to you on some other levels, because I've been needing to reach out to you, because I do want to do some business, because we should be doing business together. And I mean, listen, it's a beautiful thing. I'm happy for your success, our success. Yeah, it's really about this, bringing other people up as we rise, right?
Right. And that's what it's about, John. And so I like what you said. You said, listen, don't worry about that one person that's on the top, as long as, or in the front of the bus, as long as we on the bus, we going in the same direction. But a lot of times everybody wants to be the one on top and not trying to work together. And that is one of the things that I could admire about the Asian community, right? Because they will work together to kind of make some things happen. I grew up in San Jose. And San Jose, California, for the people who don't know, and there's people that are watching from all over the world. But in San Jose, there's a huge Asian community. And when we were little, and I'm not even going to lie, we used to laugh, because it would be like 20, 30 of them in a house, or 15. It would be a lot of them in a house, right? And we'd be like, look at, they all live in a house. But if you go to San Jose today, they own everything in San Jose, because they were willing to work together, to pull each other together, to practice collective economics, so that they can own everything 20 years, 30 years later.
Yep.
Fortitude.
And Constance, I tell people this. I'm like, look, if I'm driving the bus, I'm going to get tired. I'm going to need somebody to take the wheel. But just own that. I mean, our thing is getting people on the bus. And I'm going to say this. The bus ain't for everybody. Sometimes we got to stop and let some of our own people off it. That's no pun against Black people, because every race does it. If you count productive to the overall goal, and you're going to deter us from the destination, we're going to stop the bus and you're going to exit.
You got to get off. We got to all have the same plan. We all got to be on code, right?
Right. Yeah.
We all have to be. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate it. We got some other folks that want to come in, but thank you for your comments. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I'm going to reach out to you on some other business levels.
Absolutely. For sure. All right. Sounds good. Thank you. Y'all. So what do you guys think about what brother Jonathan had to say? He said, listen, everybody may not be on the bus, or everybody might not be at the top, but the problem seems to be sometimes with us, and I don't ever want to paint us with a broad brush, is that we don't seem to be able to get together and work in our roles so that we can get to the common goal, right? And I know that to be true because I know that there's a lot of divisiveness within our community, but it's in a lot of people's community. There's divisiveness everywhere. And I think we have to stop focusing on the glass being half empty and start focusing on the glass being half full. You know, I know we talk about the Al Sharptons and you know, all of the Black leaders that like to be in the front. Everybody has a role in there. Everybody has a place. You might not be the mouthpiece, but you might be able to, somebody said you might be able to be the one to bring people water. It doesn't matter because your job bringing the water is just as important as the mouthpiece. But we all have to function together so that for the common good, so that we can build. And there's no way that we can build if we're divided. And remember what J. Edgar Hoover said in 1955. What did he say? He said the biggest threat to America is what? Does anybody know what J. Edgar Hoover said? The biggest threat in America in 1955 was what? Can somebody say that or put it in the comments box? The biggest threat in America in 1955. I'm going to tell you, nobody could put it in the comments box, was Negro unity. The biggest threat to America is Negro unity. It's Black people coming together. The Black Messiah, the Negro unity. The biggest threat, the number one threat. So if we can come together, not that we're going to come together and enslave them, but they understand how much power that we have. And so they have to keep us divided. And if they can keep us divided, if they can keep us blinded, then we won't get that power. It's not that we're going to do anything bad with the power. That we ain't built like that. We ain't evil like that. But they don't want to see us come on top because they know how powerful we are. So if anybody else wants to join the conversation, let's talk about it. I just put the link in the comments box, and I like to have a very real conversation about it. Come and talk to me, talk Black to me. And let me ask you a question. How many of you have had a bad experience with the Black-owned business? So let's talk about that. And how did it make you feel? Because here's the thing. I remember I went to an event and David Banner was there. It was a great event. It was out in Sacramento. And got there. I was a vendor at the event. I was like selling my books and stuff. And it started like 2-3 hours late. They had this big hall. Not that many people showed up. The communication was really bad. It could have been done so much better. And I heard people over there talking about, this is horrible. This is blah, 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 right? They were talking bad about this event. And, but nobody had any positive things to offer the person who threw it on. Now I put on events before. Putting on events is not an easy feat. It's not something that it's not for the faint at heart. There's a lot of logistics that are involved. And a lot of people like to talk about people whose stuff they think turn out whack, but they don't understand how much time and energy and effort it costs to put on an event. And so what I did after the event, I was there, I was respectful, we had a good time. But after the event, I approached the owner or the person who put on the event, and I offered some constructive feedback, right? And I was so grateful that the guy was so gracious and he received the feedback because, you could, so for some Black people, I see you, Shabazz, I'm gonna bring you on in a minute. For some people, they get really defensive and it's all in how you tell them, right? So I was able to give him some constructive feedback. I would do this. He was like, oh, actually what happened was I was doing this and this is okay. Makes sense. I'm thinking we just waiting, but it's really a networking hour. Well, nobody really expressed that. So maybe in your future events, you could say this is networking hour because I'm thinking we're just late, right? So there's things that if you go to a place that may not have great service, maybe you should offer constructive feedback and not just say, I ain't doing business with you because you don't do business right. But how many people have given constructive feedback to the people that maybe have given you bad or not so good service? So if you've ever had a bad experience with the Black-owned business, what did you do? How did it make you feel? And then how did you try to resolve it? Because did you do anything? Because I want to talk about what's the resolution. I don't want to just talk about why you don't do business with Black people and how bad Black businesses are. But what did you do to try to change it? I'm going to bring Shabazz Muhammad. What's up, brother man? How you doing?
Greetings, Queen.
How
I'm
you
doing
doing?
great.
Good to see you.
I'm calling out from. Good to see you. You know, I'm in Denver, Colorado right now.
Okay. Big up to Denver, Colorado. So
Oh
tell me,
yeah, I just,
what do you got to
oh
say
go
about the
ahead.
topic?
Come again. Oh
I
yeah.
said,
Of the topic, sometimes supporting black business, this gets kind of difficult because there's gentrification takes place in 5 Points. It hit pretty hard back in 2014 and 15. And white people move in that neighborhood and open up businesses in a black historic neighborhood. And
mhm.
I'm gonna give you a quick history of the 5 Points in Denver, Colorado. Reason why there's black neighborhood, so-called black neighborhood, because there's a segregation, racism out in the open in 1900. You know what black people did? They united and built their own community and started opening up their businesses. There were female black doctors, and the doctor refused to hire her, even though she has doctorate degree. Guess what? She opened up her own clinic and helped women give birth to babies in Denver. And Justina Ford, I mean, they were opening up business. There's dentist offices and law firms. There used to be a predominantly black historic neighborhood in 5 Points. The next
Wow.
thing you know, if you pay attention to the movie Boys in the Hood,
hmm
when Lawrence Fishburne
When you talked about
told,
gentrification.
yes, he had the sign say, "I'll buy your house. We buy your house."
Yes. Yes.
He warned us back in '91.
Yeah.
Then gentrification hit all over the neighborhood pretty hard.
That's true. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. And you know what? He's so right when we talk about gentrification, right? Gentrification is when they come into your neighborhoods. You have the all black neighborhoods. But you know what? I have a different take on gentrification. I think that it's our fault. A lot of gentrification is a lot of times our fault because black people are so reactive and not proactive. See, what happens is somebody else finds value in something that you don't find value in, and then you get mad because they found value and you sold out to them. We have to take responsibility as a community about how we're selling out to people and how we're not taking pride in what we have. And so then when somebody else likes it, they come in, they buy it, go to Oakland. I'm from the Bay. You go to Oakland, you go in some neighborhoods and you're like, where am I? And then they looking at you like, what you doing here? They jogging, they pushing strollers, they walking their dogs. It's lofts, it's Starbucks. Where I thought we was in East Oakland. No, but and then the black folks will get mad because this has happened, but they saw the value in what you didn't, and so you sold your grandmama's house, you sold mama and them house, and now you out somewhere in the suburbs, and you mad because these other people have come into your neighborhood and they've driven the prices up. Black people, and this is the reason why the work that we do is so important. Dr. Boyce is the reason why the work that he does is so important. This is the reason why the work that I do is so important. It's trying to educate us so that we can be proactive and take action before that happens so that we can see the value. We can be in position to be able to purchase these properties, take advantage of the equity, and then start investing. And that way we have developed our own wealth portfolios. That's what's important. But all we do is we get mad. I have a brother who's in the music industry and he's doing a great work. He's doing a great work. And he says, we were having a conversation. He says, I'm trying to stop gentrification. We try to stop gentrification in our area. So what we're doing is we buying these houses so these people won't come in and buy the houses. And I said, okay, well, what are you doing for the people that you're buying the houses for? Well, we renting out to them. Well, that's not doing anything for the community because now they're renters. Okay, you stop the white folks from coming in and taking over the houses or taking over the neighborhoods, but what are you doing to teach the people? So we got to get to the root of the issue, and we got to teach our people to start becoming investors rather than consumers. And that is the root of it all, is learning to be investors rather than consumers so that we can change the mindset. That's how we would create a legacy. That's how we change the trajectory of the future. Just like Brandy said, don't sell grandmama and them house. Melvin said, a great fear had been put in our people in slavery days, and we have not gotten out of our DNA. What is Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome by what is that book? I met her. She's out here. What is okay? Post-traumatic. You're absolutely right. Slave. What's her name? I'm just Googling it real quick. Joy DeGruy. Yes, Joy DeGruy. Read the book Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. I heard her lecture, bought her book. It is, you're so right when you talk about the slave mentality, it being part of our DNA. We're still shell-shocked. We are still affected from it, but it doesn't mean that we can't get out. Okay, because there's a lot of us that are successful, but the things that have been implanted and continue to be implanted with systemic racism, with the justice system, with police brutality, with the penitentiary system, all of those things that are against us. When I look at housing, because that's a passion of mine, I'm in real estate, and only 42% of Black people are homeowners, while 70-something% of our white counterparts are homeowners, right? So they have a 30% leverage over us in home ownership. But I look at it as, wow, there are 43% of us that are actually homeowners in spite of predatory lending, in spite of redlining, in spite of all the things that they put in our way. We run in a race and we're both running, but they just keep throwing stuff in our lane. And we just doing hurdles. So we have 42%. Yes, not as much as them, but geez, in spite of what's put in our place, what's put in our way, we're still thriving. That's power, brothers and sisters. That is real power. And if we can continue to capitalize on that as a whole, oh my God. That's why J. Edgar Hoover said that Black unity was the number one threat to America. Because the power in which we have, if we unified and came together, oh my God, we got to do better. We got to do better. Let me see what some of the beautiful Lake Merritt and Oakland. Yes, I had a problem with Walmart today, but I bet we go back, even if we did have a problem with a big business like that. True. You go to Walmart and guess what? They got the Black hair care products locked up. The white hair care products ain't locked up, but the Black hair care products locked up. And guess what? Y'all bring y'all Black asses back to Walmart every day, right? Or every week, or you're not done shopping with them. But as soon as you go to a Black restaurant and they don't give you the customer service, or something happens, Just Hilarious said, oh, they ran out of butter for her crabs. That's why white people wanted to. Can you? Come on. I think after the crack epidemic, it took time to heal. I agree, Black Pride, it did. And it still is. But the thing is, you guys, we have to be the ones that are giving the criticism. We have to be the ones that are giving the advice, that's saying, okay, sis, listen, I enjoyed coming to your restaurant, but here are some ways I think that you can improve. Here, brother, listen, you didn't have any butter. I understand, whatever, but, here's some things that I think that you could do to make it better. But what are we doing besides complaining about what we ain't doing? So let me ask you a question here. Do you intentionally spend money with Black-owned businesses? Do you? I'm asking you. So put that in the comments box. Do you intentionally spend money with Black-owned businesses? Because remember, what did I just say? I just said that Asians are intentional. They keep their money in their communities for 30 days before it leaves the community. Jews are intentional. They keep the money in their communities 20 days before it leaves. Arabs are intentional. White people are intentional about spending with white people. Hispanics are intentional. The dollar leaves our community in 6 hours. But during Black Wall Street, the dollar stayed in that community a year before it left. And the one thing that tore down Black Wall Street for good was integration, was that we no longer had to spend money with each other. And so we didn't. And so then we went to the places that they didn't even want us, and we spent money there, and we stopped spending money with each other. Are you intentional? Black Pride say, yeah, we must uplift us only self-owned business, the savior for people of color. Now, I did a TED Talk, and you can look it up. It's called Google That Shit. And it's 5 ways, or it's ways that we can close the wealth gap. That's what it is. I did it almost a year ago. It's called GTS, Google That Shit, ways we can close the wealth gap. Because I'm really serious about closing the wealth gap. If you go on my website, catalystrealestate.com, You'll see on the front page, on the front of our page, we talk about the wealth gap and why that's so important. Now, listen, like I said, we're Black owned. We're not Black only. We service everybody from all walks of life. I'm Black. I own it. That's why it's Black owned. But we're very clear on closing the wealth gap and making home ownership and wealth equitable for everybody. That's extremely important. And so when you talk about, and this is the reason why I'm bringing this up, Xavier, I think it was Xavier talking about business ownership is so important. Real estate is so important. That's number one. We got to own more real estate, period. And there's ways that you could do it. A lot of times we have credit challenges and things like that. I got a book that I wrote on credit. It's a best-selling book. Somebody just told me yesterday, they sat down and read it within a few hours and it changed their life. Real talk. I wrote it as easy as possible. And I'm actually going to be doing a workshop with Fly Nubian Queen about credit, about keeping score, about doing what you need to know to make your credit score grow. I think it's going to be on June the 12th. And we'll have the link probably tomorrow so that you can sign up for it, because I want to get you in position to where you can start building wealth. Because guess what? I don't care how much money you have in the bank. Wealthy people do not use their money when they're investing in real estate. They use OPM. What's OPM, y'all? Other people's money. Okay, so in order to use other people's money, you got to have good credit. You use leverage. That's going to help you build your wealth portfolio. That is my goal. My mission in my life is to help you build your wealth portfolio and increase your wealth. That's what I do all day, every day, twice on Tuesdays, 6 times on Sundays. I mean, it is life for me. And it's a life for my team. And the cool thing is, like I mentioned before, I own the largest African-American owned real estate firm in California. And I have been so blessed to have a team of agents who have the same mentality and thinking that I do. And it's really about helping people to build wealth, not just selling them a home. We're not transactional. We don't care about selling 100 homes. We care about being transformational. And that's really helping you to change your mindset to get in the position to where you're building wealth. Real estate, one of the biggest ways. 90% of wealth in this country is passed intergenerationally, but 80% of wealth in this country is generated through real estate. Okay. Business ownership. Not enough Black people are owning businesses. And with the internet, y'all, oh my God, there are so many freaking millionaires because of the internet. We got to start investing in our own businesses. You could do an online business from your home. They don't even need to know who you are, what you look like. Other thing is stock investing. Black people, a lot of Black people, and statistics show that we're afraid. What's up, Pax? I'm gonna bring Pax on in a second. Is they're afraid to invest in stock. They think it's gambling. My 16-year-old son, I bought Dr. Boyce's stock program like 5-6 years ago. My son took that, took $1,000 investment, made $8,000 in like 2 years. Last year, my son started doing it again, I think in September. He took my $7,000 portfolio, got it all the way up to $40,000. And he's teaching other people to be able to do the same thing. So if you're interested, my son has a group. It's called StockTipsWithWarren.com. And he has people that are growing their portfolio like 30. Somebody just said they grew their portfolio 110%. Somebody just said they made $3,500 since they've been in. Like, they are killing it. And my son is killing it. And the boy is 16. I was telling him he's going to be my ticket out the ghetto. Like, you the one, baby. You the one. I got 4 kids. He the one. In any case, we have to start investing in that. But we really have to start investing with each other. I'm going to bring Pax on here and see what Pax got to say about that. Because Pax had something pretty pointed to say in the chat. He said, the most pro-Black thing you could do is have a Black family and raising Black children in a 2-parent home. That's how you build wealth. And if you aren't doing that, stop. So let's talk about it, Pax. What you talking about?
I mean, I was just noticing the fact that I'll see people on, YouTube, or just people in general talk about, oh, you got to do this to be pro-Black, got to do this to be pro-Black, but they're not married, or they're not raising their children in 2-parent homes. They got a divorce, and I can't judge because I'm young and I don't know what happens in life, but you need both parents to raise your children. So if you're not doing that, you're already messing up everything else you could possibly do. And I'm kind of confused about, that's the priority. I'm thinking pro-Black families, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that is all part of building the foundation. Love, wealth, health, having a strong family dynamic. That's important. I mean, things do happen. How old are you, Pax?
22.
Okay, 22, and you don't have any kids, not married or anything yet.
No, I don't have kids yet.
Good for you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Wait until you're 30. Wait until you're 30. But no, I mean, because a lot of times people get married really young. They don't know who they are. They don't know themselves. And, you kind of, people tend sometimes will, grow apart. But the priority should always be building strong kids. And I agree. I agree that our families, we should be intentional about raising our families, about being together, about, building our community, because you're absolutely right. I believe that's going to be one of the ways that we really can be build our community and be pro-Black. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, one more thing I'll say about that is that so I'm actually like Nigerian. I'm obviously raised in the US, but I'm also I'm Nigerian, right? And one thing that my parents told me that really shocked me that I didn't realize was that in our community, they kind of have their own government in the US, and they come together, and if there's a family issue in the community, they all get together, someone will say their problems, and they'll solve it as a community. And what had happened once was that, a wife was cheating on her husband, and instead of getting divorced, they came to the meeting and they all talked about it in the public. And the final conclusion was that they were to stay together and the wife was going to apologize. And that's a secret. They don't talk about it. I don't know the identities of these people, but it just blew my mind because I'm thinking wow, the commitment to staying with your spouse is that serious. I didn't realize it was that serious in my own culture,
Wow. That's good. Thank you. That's again, a lot of times for us, especially with with what's happened historically with us, we didn't have that community, but we're building the community. And I'm grateful for the internet and being able to have platforms like this where we can have these discussions where we don't have to be close in proximity, but we can be all over the world. There's people listening right now from England and from Africa and from Chicago and from New York that we can all sit down and have this conversation collectively and be able to think. Because that's what it's about. It's about, just dropping that in your spirit, and then let's ponder on it and let's actually do something with it. Because that's going to be the only thing. That's the biggest thing that we need to do is we have to have these conversations. We have to have these dialogue. You said it's a no for me. What's a no for you, Ariane? What's a no? Black people need to unlearn and relearn and look what is real. Let's start opening up mom and pop stores, mainly what's needed in our town. I don't understand this discussion. Renee, we're talking about Black people saying that they don't do business with Black people. And if you are Black, you've probably heard a Black person, if you haven't said it, say that they don't do business with Black people. And we're just breaking down why that is and what we can do in order to dispel the myth. Black Pride said we used to have the rich culture and spiritual connection. In the words of Maya Angelou, now we rise. I love him. Let me ask you this. If you're a business owner, because a lot of people now after George Floyd's murder, we've seen all of these platforms, these companies saying, Black owned business, support Black business, do Black business, support all of that. So do we have any business owners in here? And if we do, have you seen your business increase because of what they're doing with, post George Floyd? Have you seen your Black business increase any due to, the George Floyd? Has that helped? She said, Ariane said the cheating. And while you guys are answering that question, I'm just going to go through the comments. Ariane said the cheating, getting swept under the rug. You said you ain't doing it. If it's not spiritual and God given, it's not going to work. We got to let some people off the bus though, Constance, because all Black people act like they don't want that. Buy Black only. Never heard such statement. Be one always. Oh, well, I'm glad you never heard that statement. Renee, you are very lucky because a lot of us, most people on this thread have heard somebody say that they don't do business with Black people. I remember I was speaking at a church and I was talking about this one day. And I said, how many of you heard or said that you don't do business with Black people? And a lot of people raised their hand. And I said, now you take that hand, you slap yourself upside the face for saying something stupid like that. It's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Is a self-hating Negro that says that they are not going to do business with each other because they've had a bad experience. I would love to talk about free advertisement. offer for Black-owned business in my publication, All Black Everything Magazine, I would, okay. So Trish, hop on a thread with me because I would love to promote your business, All Black Everything. So listen, the link is right here. Let's talk about it. I've gotten more referrals. Oh, you have gotten more referrals since Black-owned? My business increased and it slowed down in January. I'm gonna bring you on Blacklight in a second. We're replacing God with witchcraft and spiritual leaders, and this is why it's got so discord amongst our race. I noticed that more white people have supported and have been really uplifting about Black business. Okay, good. That's great. I'm glad you're saying that. I started a home business making soy candles. I love not being caught in the rat race. That's dope. I've heard it. How crazy it's stupid. A lot of us have heard it. Let's see. Truth. We Black people need to come to grips and stop thinking that the oppressor is the way of survival. One of the things that one of my mentors, Dr. George Fraser, says, and if you don't know Dr. George Fraser, you need to know Dr. George Fraser, okay? He did a speech called, and I go to his conferences every year, and I've been going since 2013, and it's just changed the course of my business. It's called Power Networking. And unfortunately, the last 2 years has been shut down due to COVID, but if you can go. It's one of the best conferences you can go to. But one of the things that Dr. George Fraser, and also I have conferences too. He's come to a few of my conferences, and we're going to have the Wealth Empowerment Summit next year, April 2nd, 2022. Dr. George Fraser will be there. But one of the things he said, to your point, when you talk about we Black people need to come to grips and stop thinking that the oppressor is the way to survival. What he said is, Black people, we need to stop thinking about what white people are doing. White people ain't thinking about you. Black people are so busy thinking about white people. And you know what white people are thinking about? Their families, their communities, their everything else. And Black people are so caught up in what white folks are doing that they're not taking care of their own business. Not saying be anti-white. I'm saying think about yourself and your community and be intentional about how you spend your money. I see you, Trish. I'm going to bring Blacklight on. What's going on, brother?
How you doing?
I am awesome. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. This is my first time being on a live broadcast like this. Well,
I'm so happy you're here. Where are you from?
I live in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm from Indiana.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What you got to say about the topic, sir?
I just wanted to talk about a couple of things because it's very interesting because you brought up like a couple of things that I actually was talking about as far as like with Black businesses, and we have to, when we go into them, like we can't just like give up on them or whatever like that. We can't just give up on them. We have to give constructive feedback. And I definitely think that that's like a help fix the problem. Like let them know that we're not trying to come down on them or anything like that. But it's a statistics that 90% of people that complain to somebody in a business, most of the time they're actually doing that because they want to do business with you in the future. And so they're making their concerns known so that way when they come at the next time, they're not experiencing the same problem or having the same issue. So I just want all Black owners just to recognize that like Black people do want to do business with you, but we have to train. Like that's something else like I see in like a lot of mom and pop businesses and stuff like that. I think we teach more of the technical skills. Like for example, our cashiers, we teach our cashiers you need to ring up or you need to press these buttons and do certain things, but we don't teach them customer service skills. Things like when somebody walk in, it's part of your job to smile. It's part of your job to greet them. You know, how to handle customer complaints. Like a lot of times we just assume, I believe that people know how to do these things, but I think it's a training issue. And then just sometimes it seems like we don't respect our dollar as much as we respect other people's dollar. Like Black people dollar just ain't as good as the white people dollar or somebody else's dollar.
You ain't lying about that.
But yeah, and definitely I'm feeling what you said about the real estate thing too. And this may sound a little radical or whatever, but this is just the way I feel and think. You know, this is my opinion. But we are responsible in our communities. The reason why so many people or whatever own so much because we support them. If you think about it, mainly these Asian. I'm only naming some of the badder businesses just because these are the ones that I feel like mentioning. But like these corner grocery stores, these corner liquor stores, gas stations, these little wing places. Why are we not owning those and we the ones who support and running there, giving them all our money?
Exactly.
So I just feel like if as a community, especially with this little anti-Asian hate thing, if we hated y'all and we really had issue with y'all, y'all will be broke. We the main people over here sustaining y'all in this country. If we
That is true.
have a problem with y'all and just be like, okay, we hate y'all and we not shopping with y'all, you wouldn't even be over here because we the main ones putting dollars in their pocket. But I say in our communities, if we could, I know it's hard because we don't necessarily have all the businesses like maybe a gas station or something like that, which I don't understand, but we don't.
Mhm.
But if we didn't support those businesses and then we had people like yourself or whoever else that's into business that knows how to own, we shouldn't support those businesses. And when those businesses go out of business, then somebody should be able to step right in and provide the exact same service. Like if they standing here living comfortable, making money with this grocery store, then you could own that exact same spot, provide groceries, and make the same money that they've been sitting there making for years.
Exactly.
Like Arab selling you chicken wings, getting rich, selling you chicken wings.
Listen, we have to be, and that's the part of like when I talked about gentrification, brother, like we're so reactive. And so then we get mad when other people come into our communities and they are the investor and then we're the consumer. I remember there was, and this used to happen all the time. Like I said, I'm from San Jose, California. So our Black population is really small. When I was there, it was small. Now it's like obsolete because it's Silicon Valley. You know, it's one of the wealthiest areas. And mostly you're gonna have like Indians and a lot of Asians there and Middle Easterns that, you know, it's tech, you know, Silicon Valley. But when they would put on, like, there was this, I forget the name of this organization, but it was a Black organization, a Black nonprofit, and they were talking about Black people getting government contracts. And this used to always happen. And it was for Black people to get government contracts. And when I went to this conference or this workshop, it was a workshop, it was about 50, 60 people in there. The only people that were Black was me and the organizers. There was nobody else in the audience that was Black. We're not taking advantage of the opportunities that are presented to us. And then we want to complain. And I realize a lot of us don't know about the resources that are out there, but there are resources out there. Everything is out there that's available to you. Whatever you want to do, GTS, Google that shit. The information is out there. If you want to drive trucks, you can get online.
Yeah, and I definitely
do it. If you want to build, if you want to start a business, you can go on YouTube and figure out how to start a business. I told y'all I own the largest African-American owned real estate firm in California. I like that. But I learned to build my foundation. Guess what? On Google. Okay. I learned everything I needed to know. I formed my own corporation back in 2009. I did my, I created my S Corp. I did all of that and I did it by GTS, Googling that shit. Everybody has the same opportunity to do the same thing in whatever you want to do. You could be resourceful. You ain't got to go to the library. Michael Roberts, who's a Black billionaire, told me last year when I interviewed him, he said, we got more technology in the palm of our hands.
And that's, you know what?
Man on the moon.
I really think that that's what's helping us. I think that we are getting more focused on that. I think more people coming up with this mindset and trying to learn how to do this, but we just have to keep having conversations, have people constantly bringing it up and talking about it.
That's right. You know,
because that's what it is. I think that we are learning that we do have these resources that we need to take advantage of them, but we just need to, it's not as hard as I think that we think it is. And we just have to keep talking about it and we just have to make strides to try to do it.
Come on. And I love what you're saying.
And I'm not against no race or nothing like that. I love all races, but it's just well, not necessarily love. I don't know. I like our race. I don't have nothing against no other races or nothing like that. But I'm just, it's just like globally. I've been doing a lot of research and stuff and just looking at globally. But it's just like Black people globally. We, even with Africa and China, just like all over the world, like we just globally do the same thing. Like I don't know what's wrong. Like we just can't seem to get together. But it seems like we starting to wake up and
I think we are. I think the scales are falling off of our eyes. I think we're starting to see the opportunities. And thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I'm gonna bring Trish on here. Thank you. And I love what he said about globally, because listen, what you said about the Chinese seeing the opportunity in Africa, this is what I'm talking about. Go to the Power Networking Conference, because when I was there in 2019 or was it 2020, there was an ambassador there from Africa, y'all. They always have some powerful people, global people. There's an ambassador there from Africa that said, we are giving contracts to Black people around the world because these Chinese people are coming and taking over, and we want to give priority to our people who are taken away from our continent, who are taken away from home, and we want to do business with you, Black people. We want you to come home. And I forget what it's called, some African project. You can probably Google it, but they're allowing us to come back and invest in Africa because they want to see us, because the Chinese have seen the value in Africa. They over there making a killing, and they are saying, hey, we want to give, we giving this to you almost, and you can come back home and invest. So I want to bring Trish on here. What's happening, Trish? You don't want to show your pretty face?
Hey, how's it going? Actually, I'm working to finalize a magazine that I have coming out in a couple of weeks. And so
let's go, baby. What you got?
I'm kind of busy. So yeah, I just wanted to come on and talk a little bit about All Black Everything magazine. It is a new publication I started in January, and it allows Black-owned businesses, talents, and creatives to advertise for free. The magazine also highlights and keeps the Black Lives Matter movement alive, in addition to offering information our community can use, such as information on healthcare and finance. So it's really a one-stop shop. It is self-funding, so nobody ever has to pay to advertise.
Wow, that's awesome. So how can we access? What do we need to do?
So yeah, everybody can go to allblackeverythingmagazine.com. They just need to submit a little information about their business and how I can reach out to them. And I do interviews over Zoom.
Wait, allblackeverythingbusiness.com or allblackeverything.com?
allblackeverythingmagazine.com.
Okay, I'm just putting it in the feed.
Yeah, and the June issue features my interview with Tamika Palmer. And so I have Breonna Taylor on the cover, and it's only the third magazine in the United States to have that feature. So I'm super excited to be among O Magazine, and the other magazine that she was on was Vanity Fair.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Well, thank you for coming on here and sharing, sister. So you guys, listen. Go to allblackeverythingmagazine.com and make sure you support, you subscribe. If you are a Black business, creative, if you are, what else? Creatives, businesses.
Or talent. I have makeup artists, I have models, all kinds of talent and creatives.
There we go. Make sure you sign up. She'll do a Zoom interview with you, and she'll bring you on her platform. And this is what we need. This collective, this is what we need in order to build, y'all. Let's do it. Thank you, Trish. We appreciate you coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you as well.
All right. Have a good one. Y'all, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what this is about. Bringing all of our resources together so that we can work together, so that we can build our community. I love it. So listen, for all of you who have Black businesses, I want you to put your I want you to put your business in the feed. I want you to, and I want everybody to support. I want you to put your Instagram handle or your website, and I want you to go and I want you to follow. So if you, I want you to leave this window up, but I want you to follow everybody that puts their business in here. And thank you. I salute to you too, King. Many of you don't want to put in research work, but rather ask others for links. That might be true, but guess what? If you are listening under the sound of my voice today, you know that you can go onto the internet and you could do a search. You could GTS yourself. You can Google that shit yourself. They create challenges for us. We can Google all day, but we don't get approved for funding. Now let's talk about it, Kimmy, because listen, you have to have your shit together in order to get funding. I'm just going to be real. Only 3% of African-American businesses get SBA loans. I got SBA loans. I have lines of credit. I have credit cards, but you have to have your stuff in order, you know, and so one of the things, I own a co-working space. It's a co-working space and event center in Sacramento, California. And one of the things that we're doing with our members, and you don't even have to be here in order to be a member. We're going to be posting the link in maybe a week or so where you could just kind of join the community. But we're going to be having workshops on how do I get funding? How do I get an SBA loan? How do I build my business credit? So we're not going to have no more excuses on they not giving us the money to be able to do nothing. In order to get the funding, you got to be able to have your stuff together. You got to have, you got to file your taxes. You got to make sure that you've paid things on time, and then you'll be able to get the funding. And that's the reason why we can't do it, is because we got to get our stuff together, period. I'm gonna bring Ricky Manor up here. What's happening? Oh, what's up, Ricky? I seen you the last few days. What's going on? What's happening, brother?
I've been checking you guys out over here. I love your show, by the way.
I appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with me. What you got to say about the topic, brother?
Well, I think that when it comes down to doing business with other Black people, the way that we've been conditioned nowadays, it's kind of difficult to gain trust with each other. And we have this crabs in a barrel mentality. I don't know if we can get rid of that in one generation. It's going to start with reconditioning our thought process. And until we actually do it, I don't think that we're going to see any progress in that aspect, because like I was telling you in the chat room, I have a used car dealership. And basically what ends up happening is people will come to me, they realize that my prices are just as high as the white man's prices, but they'll still go buy from him before they will come back to me.
But your car ain't the same. Your car don't run the same as their cars. What do they think?
Right. And I have seen it where they go get a lemon from the other place, and then they come back to me and ask me how they could get out of the, how they could get out of their loan. So it's like, wow. So what do we do?
Yeah, but I see that issue too. So, I do real estate. I own a real estate company. I own a mortgage company, and we're a direct lender. People will go somewhere else and they will get done with no Vaseline because they think that other people are going to do them better. And then when they end up getting put in a bad situation and they want to come and now they want to ask questions. Well, why is right? So you go ahead on over there and you do business with the people that you was doing business with. And it's unfortunate that that's the case, but we just have to keep having these conversations. I think, Ricky, and we got to keep discussing and we got to keep talking. And there's a brother in here that says, quit talking and let's act. We got to have the conversations because honestly, brother, a lot of us don't know. And I forget who said it in the chat box. But we have to keep having the conversations, because if we're not having the conversations, everybody is not as educated as you. Everybody is not as knowledgeable as you. So people need to hear this information so that they can take action. But here's the thing, and here's one of the things that George Fraser told me a long time ago. He said it's not enough that we have the information, but we have to pass it on to others, especially our kids. We have to reach back to them because they're the ones that are going to take it to the next level. One of the things that I love is that my kids, especially my two oldest ones, the other two, they upstairs, but the oldest two, my daughter, she just graduated from Hampton University a couple of weeks ago, and she has her own marketing business. My 16-year-old, he has his own stock business where he's making a killing. He's making so much money, right? Making more than a lot of adults. The only thing he talks about all day is, investing money. He's watching YouTubes all day about how, because he says when I turn 18 next year, because he'll be 17 in July, he says I want to buy my first duplex, right? So he's trying to save up all his coins so that he could do that. But what I love is that my kids are what I talk about personified in human form. That's dope as hell to me. And so that's all about the give back to teaching your kids. What are we teaching our babies? What are we sharing with our babies? Are we having these conversations about money, about wealth, about credit, getting them aligned and getting them focused? Because just like brother Ricky said, it's probably not going to happen in this generation. We got to flesh out all this bullshit. Jim Crow just ended in 1970? It just was abolished. We still got stuff that's on the books that permeates systemic racism. It's still all up and through our justice system. And it's probably not going to go anywhere. But now that we're aware, now that we're woke, now that we're B1, we still have some of that old thinking. I have aunts and uncles that think like, what's the dude on Boondocks? I always call Uncle Ruckus thinkers. Or what's the slave dude on Django? There's still a lot of Black people who think like that. So we got to flesh that out of our community. And we got to start thinking differently. So Trish said, I'm not prepared to be on camera. It's all good. She's working at home in her bathrobe. That's good. Brandy's a notary. Yes, Uncle Ruckus. Yes. So you guys, thank you for hanging out with me. I just wanted to stop by and just have a conversation with you. And let's talk about it. And let's continue to keep the conversation. And let's keep the conversation going in our community. Make sure you share this. Make sure you're hitting the thumbs up. go to Constance Carter VIP and let's have a conversation in the Q&As and talk about what we could do to build our community, because I am a wealth activator. I've been blessed to be able to have some successful businesses, and I want to teach you to be able to do the same thing. One of the things that, when I talk about practicing collective economics, I created a group. Me and a couple of people created a group a few months ago. And the cool thing is we brought several, maybe 60 to 70 Black folks together that are investing in cannabis. And so people who didn't, I invest in cannabis. I'm an investor in a dispensary here. And, that was a 6-figure investment. This other cannabis investment is a 6-figure investment, but a lot of us don't have that capital. So we made it possible for people to get in at a fraction of the cost. That's collective economics. So when you see opportunities like that, and if you are a leader, I want you to duplicate that. And I want you to do that with your community and start to help other people around to start investing. That's what you should do. So yeah, feminine. Can anybody just get on camera? Yeah, we opened it up, but we're getting ready to head out here. But I want to make sure that you continue to follow me on I Am Constance Carter. Subscribe to my page. Nobody works harder than Constance Carter. Subscribe to subscribe to Fly Nubian Queen. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. I sure appreciate you guys. It's been thousands of people on here, and you guys have been really, really great. For all the people who came on here and discussed and gave their opinion, you've been awesome. Thank you again. Take care. And God bless ya.
Yeah, it's CC, the CEO. Wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder. I can teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black on.